We've been absent from our beloved community for quite a while now. One of the things we've missed is the sacrament of communion. We are hopeful that soon we'll be able to break bread together.
Good morning, friends. This is the first Sunday of the month, and a Sunday that we would have been celebrating communion at St. John's had we been able to be together. What do you think? What images come to your mind when you hear the word communion? I'm guessing that you see in your mind the bread and the wine and maybe parts of the ritual that are special to you and meaningful to you. Maybe you see bits and pieces of a religious ritual that is not just a habit, but for many of us, communion is a cherished ritual with a lot of deep meaning. But this morning, I would like for you to consider that communion is not just a ceremony which we perform regularly and then it's over for a period of time, but it's an invitation to an ongoing way of being together in beloved community. It's a visual drama in miniature, illustrating the larger ongoing life that we have with one another. Communion is an invitation to commune with one another. Communion is communal. The root word for communion is based in both Latin and Greek, and words that mean to share one's intimate thoughts with someone, to converse or talk with profound intensity and intimacy. So commune is a verb, something we practice, something we do. And we are invited into a life where we not only commune with God, but also with one another. We're invited into intimacy. Now here's the kernel at the heart of what I'm trying to say this morning. The table of communion is for me an open table. And though in one way it happens inside a church building, I believe that God meant for the table of communion to be much, much larger than any building could ever contain. And I believe that we are living in times where instead the table has become smaller and smaller and broken. We have come to believe that communing is just for us, but not for them. And God grieves. As I was watching the live videos of the demonstrations around the square about a week ago now, I saw a set of people who in effect were saying, we're not sure if we belong anymore at the table. We're not sure if we ever did. Do we have a place at the table where there is respect and equality and love and fairness? Some are convinced that they do not. And since they believe that all of God's children are welcome with equal standing at the table, they're angry and they feel shut out. So then, on the square, on that Monday, as tempers flared and people started to feel threatened, you could see the escalation happening right in front of your eyes. Fear led to a call for power and control and domination. And in the middle of it all, something happened. I don't know how it happened, and I may not have the details exactly correct, but there in the middle of the rising tension, there was a cluster, a small group of people. One policeman, who I think was Chris Tilley, several black people, including Bailey Williams, and some white people. They weren't standing, they were sitting together and kneeling at the heart of Troy's Square, conversing and talking with profound intensity and intimacy. Do you remember those words? That's the definition of what it means to commune. They were having communion on the square. There, out there on the street, in the most unlikely of places, was an act of communion going on of the most profound dimensions. Communion outside of the church building. And as that little event dispersed, someone put their cell phone at the heart of the little gathering, allowing for the blessing of Alveda King, Dr. Martin Luther King's niece, to pray for God's blessing on the small group of people trying to find room at the table. And that's what I call transformational spirituality. Whether you're Christian or Muslim or Jewish or no religion at all, and whether you believe in God or you don't. For me, that was a moment where divine love and power shifted our life together from destructiveness and divisiveness to healing and inclusion at one table. It's a wonderful concept, and as wonderful it is, let no one say that peacemaking is for wusses and for wimps. It's 100 times easier to arm yourself to the teeth and dominate. Let's screw up our courage and get out of fear and heal our land. Let's pray. God, please give us the courage to love as we were designed to love and to make room at the table for all of your children. Amen.